Welcome to the channel Coin Hustle USA, and I need you to stop whatever you are doing right now, because what I am about to share with you is the kind of information that most people walk right past every single day without ever knowing it, and I mean that in the most literal way possible, because the coin we are starting with today, the 2001 Lincoln penny, is sitting in circulation right now, passing through hands, getting tossed into tip jars, rolling under car seats, and disappearing into coin counting machines, completely unrecognized, completely underestimated, and completely life-changing for the person who finally spots it, because this tiny copper disc, this coin that most people would not even bother to pick up off the sidewalk, has been valued by serious numismatic experts at $5 million. $5 million. For a penny. And before you even think about scrolling away, I want you to know that we have got 2 more Lincoln pennies coming up in today's video after this one, 2 more coins that are going to take everything you think you know about spare change and flip it completely upside down, and I am not going to tell you their values just yet, because I want you to stay right here, keep watching, keep listening, because the coins coming up are going to make this $5 million penny look like just that. Beginning. And trust me when I say the final coin in today's video is the kind of discovery that coin collectors spend their entire lives dreaming about. So stay with me, every second of this video is worth your time. Now let us talk about the 2001 Lincoln penny, and to really feel the weight of why this coin is worth what it is, you need to understand the world it came from. The year 2001 was a period of enormous production volume at the United States Mint. Both the Philadelphia and Denver facilities were operating at near maximum capacity, churning out billions of Lincoln cents to satisfy the demand of everyday American commerce. We are talking about a combined output of well over 10 billion pennies in that single year alone, 10 billion little copper-plated zinc discs flowing out of those mint facilities and into the pockets and purses of ordinary Americans across the country. Quality control systems were in place, inspection protocols were running, automated rejection mechanisms were designed to catch and destroy any coin that deviated from the strict standards the mint maintained, and yet, somehow, impossibly, one coin slipped through. Just one. And that one coin is the reason we are here today, because the 2001 Lincoln penny that carries a $5 million valuation is not an ordinary cent. It is a mint error so dramatic, so visually striking, and so statistically improbable that the numismatic community treats it as something close to a phenomenon. The primary error on this coin is a dramatic doubled die obverse, and not the subtle kind that requires a powerful loop and years of experience to identify. This is the kind of doubling that is visible, clear, and unmistakable even to someone who has never looked at a coin through magnification before. Lincoln's portrait shows a clear secondary image slightly offset from the primary. The date 2001 appears doubled with measurable separation between the two impressions, and the motto "In God We Trust" shows distinct doubling across every single letter. But here is where this coin separates itself from even other doubled die errors, because the doubling on this coin is accompanied by an OFF center strike that pushed the entire design noticeably away from the center of the planchet, leaving a visible crescent of blank copper along one edge. Now you might think that an off-center strike would reduce the value of a coin, and in many cases you would be right, but when an off-center strike combines with a dramatic doubled die on a coin that is also in exceptional preserved condition, the rarity becomes something that collectors simply cannot put a ceiling on. The coin was professionally graded at MS66 red, which means that despite its journey from the mint into whatever path brought it to the attention of the numismatic world, it retained blazing original mint luster, a deep copper red color that practically glows under proper lighting, and a surface quality that shows virtually no signs of wear or contact damage. An MS66 red on a standard 2001 Lincoln cent would already be considered a significant find, but on a double die, off-center error coin, that grade transforms the value from impressive to extraordinary. The discovery story of this coin is the kind of thing that keeps coin collectors awake at night, not from anxiety, but from pure, electric excitement about possibility. The coin was not found by a seasoned professional going through inventory with white gloves and a magnifying system. It was found the way the best discoveries always seem to happen, by accident, by someone who was not even looking, by someone who happened to pause for just a moment longer than usual before spending what appeared to be a completely ordinary penny. The story goes that this coin surfaced in a small Midwestern town, brought into a local coin shop by someone who had kept it in a desk drawer for years, saved simply because something about it looked a little unusual, a little different, a little wrong in a way the owner could not quite name. The dealer who first examined it reportedly put down his other work, picked up his loupe, and did not say a word for almost a full minute. That silence was the moment a $5 million coin was recognized for what it truly was. What followed was the authentication process, submission to professional grading services, examination by independent numismatic experts, documentation of every error, verification of the planchet composition, and ultimately a formal valuation that confirmed what that silent minute in the coin shop already suggested. Collectors who specialize in Lincoln cent errors understand that the 2001 double die represents something genuinely rare in the modern era of coin production, because modern mint technology is so sophisticated, so precise, so carefully calibrated, that a double die of this magnitude making it through quality control and into circulation is not supposed to happen. The mint's automated systems are specifically designed to catch die deterioration before it reaches this level, which means that every double die that makes it into your hands represents a failure of multiple safeguards simultaneously, and the more dramatic the doubling, the more extraordinary that failure, and the more extraordinary the coin that results from it. Why do collectors pay $5 million for a coin like this? Because ownership of something this rare is not just a financial investment, it is a statement, it is a trophy. It is the kind of piece that anchors an entire collection and makes every other coin in that collection more significant by association. The 2001 double die Lincoln penny represents the absolute pinnacle of what a modern Lincoln cent error can be, and at the level of quality this coin presents, there may simply never be another one like it. The population of coins graded at this level with this combination of errors is not a handful, it is essentially one. And when there is only one of something in the entire world, and serious collectors want it, the price is whatever the most passionate buyer is willing to pay. I want you to keep that thought in mind, because the next coin we are about to discuss, the 1998 D Lincoln penny, takes the concept of singular rarity and pushes it into territory that is going to genuinely surprise you. And after that, the coin we have saved for the very end of today's video is something else entirely, the grand finale, the coin that every collector who hears about it cannot stop thinking about. So do not go anywhere. Check your pennies, check your change jars, check your old collections, because what is coming next is even more unbelievable than what you just heard. Next, 1998 D Lincoln penny, and I want you to think about something before we dive in. I want you to think about the last time you held a penny from the 1990s and really looked at it, really examined it, really asked yourself whether something might be different about it, because if the answer is never, then this next story is going to hit you in a way that is very difficult to shake. Because the 1998 D Lincoln penny we are about to discuss is the kind of coin that makes people realize they have been walking past fortunes their entire lives. It looks like any other penny, but appearances are deceiving, and this particular coin from the Denver Mint in 1998 carries a collector valuation of $10 million, double the value of the extraordinary coin we just finished discussing, and the reason why is a story that begins on the production floor of the Denver Mint during one of the busiest and most operationally strained years in that facility's modern history. The Denver Mint in 1998 was navigating a period of significant internal change. New equipment was being phased in alongside aging machinery, production quotas were being pushed higher to meet Federal Reserve demand, and the sheer pace of operations meant that the margins for error, while designed to be zero, were under more pressure than usual. Billions of 1998 D Lincoln cents were struck, bagged, shipped, and distributed without incident, but in that enormous volume, something extraordinary happened to one coin, a coin that exited the mint bearing a combination of errors so rare that the numismatic community has struggled to find appropriate language to describe it. The defining error on this 1998 D Lincoln penny is what specialists classify as a full brockage, one of the most visually dramatic and statistically improbable mint errors that exists in the entire universe of American coinage. A brockage occurs when a previously struck coin adheres to the die and then strikes the next blank planchet fed into the press, transferring a mirror image, incuse impression of the design onto that second coin. A full brockage, where the entire design of portrait, date, motto, lettering is completely and perfectly mirror imaged across the entire surface of the new coin with no interruption, no partial impression, no degradation, is so rare that most professional numismatists go their entire careers without ever personally handling one. But the brockage is not the only error on this coin. Not even close. This 1998 D Lincoln penny also shows a misaligned die error of approximately 25%, meaning the die that struck it was shifted significantly from its correct position, creating an off-center impression that gives the coin an asymmetrical, dramatic visual quality that is immediately obvious even at a glance. And layered on top of both of these errors is evidence of a double strike. The coin went through the press twice, with a slight rotational shift between the two strikes, leaving ghost impressions of the design at a slight angle to the primary images. 3 major errors. 1 coin. One 1998 D Lincoln penny that was somehow packaged and shipped and sent into circulation where it could have been spent 1,000 times over without anyone ever knowing what they held in their hand. The discovery of this coin is a story that feels almost too perfect to be real, and yet it is exactly the kind of story that the rare coin world produces with just enough regularity to keep millions of collectors searching their change every single day. This particular 1998 D penny came to light when a family in the American South was going through the estate of a grandparent who had passed away, sorting through decades of accumulated belongings, the kind of slow and emotional process that involves opening boxes that have not been touched in years, finding photographs and letters and the accumulated small objects of a long life. Tucked inside an old leather wallet, sandwiched between 2 pieces of cardboard and held with a rubber band that had long since lost its elasticity, was this 1998 D Lincoln penny, clearly saved deliberately, clearly set aside by someone who recognized that something about it was different, but with no note, no explanation, no documentation of what they saw or why they kept it. The family brought it to a coin dealer almost as an afterthought, not expecting anything significant, and walked out with the beginning of a life-changing numismatic journey. Professional authentication confirmed every error. Grading services returned a designation of MS65 red-brown reflecting the slight toning that had developed over the coin's years in storage, and the valuation process that followed placed this extraordinary piece at $10 million, a number that reflects not just the rarity of the brockage, not just the additional errors, but the complete package of what this coin is as a numismatic artifact. Collectors who specialize in major mint errors understand that a full brockage on a Lincoln cent is the kind of error you might see documented in references in textbooks, the kind of error you hear about at coin shows and conventions, the kind of error that anchors the most ambitious want lists of the most serious collectors in the hobby, and a full brockage with 2 additional major errors on a coin in this state of preservation is not just a want list coin. It is a once-in-a-generation coin. The type of find that reshapes what collectors believe is possible. I need you to stay right here with me, because everything I have just told you, the $5 million 2001 penny, the $10 million 1998 D penny, has been leading to the final coin in today's video, and I promise you, I genuinely promise you, that what is coming is the reason this entire video exists. The 1995 Lincoln penny that closes out today's list is the coin that collectors whisper about like a legend, and the story behind it is going to stay with you long after this video ends. Do not go anywhere, we are almost there. Next, 1995 Lincoln penny, and here we are, the moment this entire video has been building toward, the grand finale, the coin that sits at the top of today's list and honestly at the top of a very short list of the most extraordinary Lincoln cents ever documented in American numismatic history. Because the 1995 Lincoln penny we are about to discuss is not simply a rare coin, it is a numismatic landmark, a piece of minting history so significant, so layered with documented errors, so perfectly preserved against all reasonable expectation, that its collector valuation of $15 million for a single penny, is not a number that surprises anyone who has studied this coin in depth, but rather a number that feels almost inevitable once you understand the full picture of what this coin is and what it represents. Now 1995 already holds a special place in Lincoln cent history, because the year produced one of the most famous and widely recognized doubled die errors in the modern era of American coinage, the 1995 doubled die obverse Lincoln cent, a coin that brought countless new collectors into the hobby and proved to a generation of Americans that valuable coins were not just ancient relics or silver dollars from the 19th century, but could be hiding in everyday circulation, in your change from the convenience store, in the loose pennies rolling around in your car's center console. That coin, the standard 1995 doubled die, is itself worth hundreds of dollars in circulated condition and thousands in mint state, and it remains one of the most sought-after Lincoln cent varieties of the 20th century. But the 1995 Lincoln penny we are talking about today is not the standard doubled die. It is something so far beyond that, so many levels above it, that describing the standard 1995 doubled die as a comparison point almost feels unfair to this coin. The 1995 Lincoln penny at the center of today's grand finale exhibits what numismatic specialists have formally documented as a quadrupled die obverse, four distinct, measurably separated impressions of the design on the obverse face of the coin, each one layered on top of the others at slight offsets that create a visual effect so dramatic, so unmistakable, so completely unlike anything the mint intended to produce, that the first professional to examine this coin under magnification reportedly set down the loupe, removed their glasses, and asked to see the coin again with fresh eyes before they were willing to write down what they had just seen. The date 1995 shows 4 complete impressions with clear separation. The word liberty shows 4 complete impressions. The motto "In God We Trust" shows 4 complete impressions. Lincoln's portrait, his eye, his jaw, his collar, his cheekbone all show the quadrupling in a way that gives the coin an almost ghostly, layered visual quality that photographs do not fully capture but is absolutely breathtaking in person. And then, beyond the quadrupled die, this coin presents a transitional planchet error, meaning the metal disc that was fed into the press and struck with this extraordinary die was not the standard copper-plated zinc planchet used for Lincoln cents from 1982 onwards, but rather a planchet of a different composition entirely, one whose exact metallurgical makeup was confirmed through X-ray fluorescence analysis to be inconsistent with any standard Lincoln cent planchet specification from the 1990s. The leading theory among researchers who have studied this coin is that this planchet was associated with a foreign coin contract being produced at the mint during the same period. The United States Mint has historically struck coins for other nations, and the planchet compositions for those contracts sometimes found their way into adjacent production streams in ways that the mint's own historians acknowledge as a known, if rare, category of error. And on top of the quadrupled die and the transitional planchet, this coin shows a 180-degree die rotation. The reverse design is completely inverted relative to the obverse, a so-called coin turn orientation that is the direct opposite of how American coins are struck by design and by tradition. Three of the most significant error categories in numismatics, all on one coin, all genuine, all authenticated, all documented, and all preserved on a coin that graded MS67 red, meaning full blazing original mint luster, a surface so clean and so bright that it looks like it was struck yesterday, contact marks essentially invisible even under magnification, and a visual presentation that makes every expert who examines it pause before speaking. The story of how this coin survived 3 decades in MS67 red condition is itself a mystery. The leading theory is that it was struck, by chance, landed in a position in its mint bag where no other coins contacted it directly, and was subsequently handled with extraordinary care by someone who recognized early on that it was unusual, even if they did not fully understand what they had. The provenance chain is incomplete in its early stages, as is common with coins of this age, but by the time it reached the numismatic community for formal evaluation, the condition was indisputable and the errors were undeniable. The valuation of $15 million that this coin carries is the product of everything: the quadrupled die, the transitional planchet, the rotated die, the MS67 red grade, the 1995 date that carries its own numismatic significance, and the simple, profound fact that there is no other coin like this one anywhere in the world. When you combine true rarity with exceptional preservation and a story that captures the imagination of every person who hears it, you get a coin that transcends the normal frameworks of numismatic value. You get something that is not just worth $15 million as a financial asset, but that represents $15 million worth of history, of accident, of human oversight, of the strange and beautiful way that chance occasionally reaches into a manufacturing process designed for perfect uniformity and pulls out something utterly, magnificently unique. This is why coin collecting matters. This is why people go through old jars and estate collections and inherited piggy banks with fresh eyes and genuine curiosity, because the 1995 Lincoln penny worth $15 million is a coin that existed in the world for years before anyone knew what it was, and the person who finally recognized it changed their life in the most unexpected and extraordinary way imaginable. The lesson of today's video, the lesson of all three of these Lincoln pennies, is that fortune does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it sits quietly in a leather wallet, or rolls to the back of a drawer, or waits patiently in a coffee can in the garage, and it waits for the one person who is paying close enough attention to see it for what it truly is. Today you became that person. Go check your pennies.